So I am just getting back from a hike on the mountain, putting together a short video. I went across about an 800-acre piece of property in Tennessee. Had heard there might be some ginseng or caves or waterfalls or maybe an artifact or two. Didn't find anything like that, but had a extensive terrain change over about 3 or 4 miles, over several mountains and through several massive valleys and down some cliffs. And anyway, so here you go. Hope you enjoy. There's a resting station, a couple of places up here with a roof and a little platform. I guess where you could at least get out of the rain or take a break. I found a clear bedding area. I can't tell if it's deer or bear or what. I don't find any hair, which is odd. Right off the end of the trail that goes up very high in elevation. There's about 3 different bedding areas right in here where everything's beat down, where something's been sleeping here. I'm on a game trail that came up off of that highest elevation trail. It's the Blue Trail. I went off the end of it and headed up the mountain through the woods off to the left. I believe this is all deer. That's a big deer. It's making that an old deer, and it's for some reason pooping in this same place over and over again, which is unusual. Headed up the mountain. I'm about a mile into a hike up a mountain in Tennessee. There was about 1,500 foot of trail that ended, and I have just begun to follow the game trails on up the mountain. I am on an obvious white-tailed deer trail. There's lots of poop, and haven't seen any hair or any sign of bears yet, but I'm trying to explore this property for a friend of mine who is doing some work here, and I'm told there might be some interesting artifacts or potentially caves or waterfalls on this property. So I don't have but a couple of hours, and it's a very large property, so I'm not going to get an opportunity to probably find much, but I'm giving it my best shot in the couple of hours I've got. And we've climbed, I don't know, I'll have to look at my GPS and see elevation wise, but I've been on a steady climb for about 20 minutes. So we'll see, but it's beautiful property up in the mountains of Tennessee. And just thought this would be something fun to do today, so here we go. We're following a game trail at this point, and I'm told that there are a lot of rattlesnakes on this mountain, so I'm trying to be careful. I do have a walking stick that I cut that I've been using to help. As best I can tell on the GPS on Hunt Stand app, there's a road off to my right that has probably been abandoned many years ago, but that was probably put in when they did some selective timber cutting off this property years ago. So I'm trying to use the game trails just because I find that more interesting than walking down the road. But as you can see, it is clearly not easy hiking. It's slow going, but we're making it a little bit at a time. Often these drainages where I'm walking right now will be a deer trail or a game trail of some kind, which is the case right here. Clearly the game are using this drainage, but they also went up that way, so I'm trying to climb in elevation and hopefully at some point intersect that road, because I need to make some time at some point. I'm trying to get to the very back of this property in about 3 hours and hopefully have somebody. There's a clear game trail. I don't know if it shows up on camera, but hopefully have somebody pick me up. There's a clear game trail going there. Apparently there's a lot of white-tailed deer on this mountain, because I'm finding, once again, I think I mentioned earlier, a lot of feces. Oddly enough, I haven't seen a lot of rubs and scrapes, but there's so many small trees up through here, that doesn't really surprise me. I'm not finding them, other than the fact it's odd they're not doing it right on these trails. I actually think I'm standing on an old roadbed right now. It looks like I'm walking an old roadbed, so I'm gonna jump off here and see if I've made it over to that intersecting road I was seeing on Hunt Stand. I'll be back. I hope I can do this justice, but there's a deer bed right there. Well, I'll show you everything around it so you can understand what it is. You see how matted down that is? The deer slept there last night, clearly. And this that I'm on, I thought was a roadbed. It may be an old roadbed from 150 years ago, but it's not the one that I was looking for. I'll plug in a picture of the GPS image that'll show you where I'm at in comparison to the road that I'm looking for that's off to my right, or I think it's to the west of me. I'm going to continue straight on up this trail, and it goes straight up the mountain right there, which is where I'm wanting to go. So we'll see how this goes. Obviously, I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but I'm still on a game trail that I showed a video on just a couple of minutes ago about a roadbed I thought was here. And I think I've since left the roadbed, but I'm literally going straight up. I would say, oh my, 60 degrees. It's unbelievable. It's almost having to climb on my hands and knees. But it's interesting how the deer just go right up and down it like it's nothing. Did have a bit of a scare a minute ago. Had a yellow jacket's nest show up. Thankfully I didn't disturb it too much and was able to get on past it. But having a good time up here, but it's not easy going. I'm still headed up this mountain. There's a clear line that I'll show on my Hunt Stand app between two types of forest that's coming up. But right now I'm on the side of an absolute sheer drop off with a huge canyon down here below me. I was told there might be some caves on this property. I suspect that if they're there, that's probably where they're at, down in that canyon. I don't have the time today to go down there and explore as much as I would love to. So I'm doing a switchback along the edge of this cliff, following the game trails, trying to make it over the top to where I'm seeing this transition from one type of forest to the other. I'm also told there's some ginseng in this area, so I've been looking out for that. But I'm thinking it may be in the forest type that's on the other side of this cliff. Check out this big mushroom right here. Yeah, can't tell if I'm getting it or not. Anyway, videoing with an iPhone is not fun, but we're making do. Onward. I'm very close to the very top of this mountain, where I roll over the other side and I find these two tree stumps. They were obviously cut with a chainsaw, but based on everything around me, I'm thinking these stumps have been here at least 50 years. I don't know if that's cedar or what it is, but it's been a long time since anybody's been up on this mountain. That's pretty wild that they're still in that good a condition. Time for a break. So I made it to the very peak, the highest point. There's this beautiful trail that runs along the top of the ridge that I believe to be just strictly a game trail, and just the results of being at the top. But literally over there in this direction is just complete drop off. And then over in that direction, it drops off into a different type of forest. I'm gonna try to continue a little bit further. I haven't heard back from my ride. I'm potentially headed towards a road that's another half a mile through this mountain that I might get a ride there. If not, I'm gonna have to turn around and go back the way I've come, which could be another 2 hours of hiking. So I'm hoping somebody responds here in a little bit and I get a ride, so I don't have to go back the way I came or end up with them concerned, because I feel like my texts are going out, so I hope they are. All right, onward. Well, I was wrong about reaching the top. There's one more climb here. It's not terrible. And there's a beautiful trail. I have no reason to think this is people. I feel like it's gotta be just wildlife. But man, it's just clear and easy walking. Although you're walking up a cliff, basically. I'd say it's about 40 degrees, 35 degrees, I don't know. The camera never shows it, but it's steep. But we're almost to the peak, I can tell by the horizon. Here's something you don't expect to find at the peak of a mountain. Make sure I don't get bit by a snake. There's an antique school desk. Still has the seat there with it. Pretty interesting artifact, no telling how old that is. I'm guessing probably 100. I don't see any signs of any branding on it. Looks like maybe somebody's used it as a target practice tool, but who would carry such a thing up a mountain? And then right over here, off the ridge of this mountain, is a drop off. I'm guessing to the bottom of that valley is, just what I can see, is 300 plus feet, 100 yards deep. So I'm trying to make a decision about what my next move is here, because I still haven't heard nobody's let me know if they could pick me up on the other end of the property. And if I keep going much further, I'm just getting further and further away from where I'll have to go back to. So got to make a decision here pretty soon. Well, I got confirmation that my ride is coming, and I found a finger that's going to take me off down into this valley. I'm going to take this finger all the way down into the bottom of that valley, and then I may have to climb again on the other side to get back up to the road that I'm going to go to where my ride's coming in. But there's a lot of deer trails here, which are helping me a lot. You know, to walk on the wildlife trails, and haven't seen any bear sign. I'm told there are bear in this area, but haven't really seen anything that made me think of bear. But I have seen probably a dozen white-tailed deer beds, and they're waste everywhere. And now look at how this trail is just clear down through here. You would think somebody'd been in here with a tractor, but it's just the ridge of this. Actually, it looks to me like maybe at some point somebody's ridden four-wheelers in here. Can't be sure, but anyway, on we go. I don't know if I can possibly do this justice, but I'm way up on the edge of this mountain, and I need to go down there in the bottom, and this finger just keeps dragging and dragging and dragging along, and every time I think it's dropping off, I end up having to climb back to the top and go further. I'm about ready to just slide down this cliff on my rear end, because there's no walking down it. I don't know, we will see. All right, I'm on the edge of the cliff here. The ridge line I was following is up the hill up there and it goes around over here. The spot that I'm thinking about going down straight into the bottom is right there. The only thing I don't know is that once I drop into that bottom, am I gonna have to climb that massive mountain that's over there on the other side? I think I hear the road over there, quarter mile in the bottom, but I'm not sure. So this is a bit of an investigation we're doing. Still haven't come across any ginseng, and I've picked up a couple of interesting artifacts, some old 100-year-old bottles I found. A glass Gatorade bottle, I don't guess I've ever seen one before. And then another little medicinal bottle I found. But anyway, taking a break for a minute, getting my breath, and then here we go again. All right, I'm on my way down. Starting to get down to the bottom. In case you didn't know it, if you decide to hike, you need a size bigger shoe than what you normally wear. And I don't have that on because I did not buy these to hike in. I'll be surprised if by the time this little escapade is over, if I have any big toenails. I have put them in a lot of bind going down these extremely steep inclines or descents. And so now I'm wondering if my toenails are going to come off, which for people that hike the Appalachian Trail is not that unusual. Just found some interesting poop here I'm going to show you. Don't know what this is. Can't tell what I'm seeing because I've got my phone flipped around, but hopefully that got you a view of that. And then right past it is deer poop. So this is obviously clearly a deer trail. There are acorns everywhere here. So the deer are just feasting right now this time of year. It's interesting though because the deer are obviously pretty intelligent. There's 0 trails going down this valley, straight down. Every trail is a zigzag like you would see in the mountains that people have put in for horses and themselves and whatever else. There's never a trail that goes straight down. So even the deer have enough sense to know better. But there's deer poop everywhere I turn. Right there's another pile on another trail that's going across the descent here. I'm just headed straight down. From a time perspective, I kind of need to do that, but it's beautiful. Well, I'm in the very bottom, or very close to it, and I don't know, whatever these trees are, mimosas or whatever, and it is so thick that if it were not for these game trails, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'd be stuck, I guess. I feel like once I get another 100 yards or so, this is going to clear up. That 100 yards is going to take some time because this is thick and rocky. I'm still going downhill, which is a pain. But here we go. I've pushed all the way to the bottom. I'm on this big dry creek bed. I'm going to spend a few minutes here, see if I can see any interesting artifacts. I doubt it because I imagine everything that's in this bottom has been covered up by 2,700 layers of wash over the years. It is so wet down in here. It's like, if I can imagine what the Amazon jungle would be like, I feel like this is similar. It never gets any sunlight down here. As you can see, it's so shaded and the ground is just sopping wet. And so, but we're well on our way, and what a cool spot this is. Gonna get a drink of water and then here we go. My battery's getting low, So I don't know how much more video I'm gonna be able to do because I've got to depend on my hunt stand to get me out of here. But there is enough river rock, creek rock right here in this creek bottom for somebody to make a fortune if there was a way to get it out of here. Absolutely beautiful flat rock that could be used for building anything. It's so shaded down in here, I'd say it's 15 degrees cooler right here than it is up anywhere where there's open sunlight. All right, still headed out. I'll screenshot another picture of approximately where I'm at. And hopefully another 30 minutes to an hour, I'll be getting out close to the road. Look at that root structure on that tree. It's wild, isn't it?